Mistakes in HAZOP, hazard, and operability analysis. HAZOP is one of the most effective methods used to systematically identify risks in process industries such as LPG terminals, refineries, and chemical plants. When applied correctly, it not only identifies potential hazards, but also significantly strengthens the operational reliability and safety culture of the facility. However, some fundamental mistakes made in practical applications can seriously reduce the effectiveness of this powerful method and lead to a false sense of safety. One of the most critical problems is that HAZOP studies are conducted without sufficient disciplinary involvement or by technically inadequate personnel. The exclusion of process engineers, mechanics, instrumentation specialists, and especially operators with direct experience in field operations leads to overlooking significant risks that may arise under real operating conditions. This is because theoretical knowledge alone does not always reflect the behavioral dynamics in the field. Another common mistake is viewing HAZOP as a formality process rather than a protective and preventive risk analysis. In this approach, teams focus on completing the formality rather than deeply analyzing deviations. Thus, the method ceases to be an analytical tool that reveals risks and becomes merely an administrative task. The failure to accurately and consistently identify deviations also seriously weakens the effectiveness of the study. If basic deviations such as no flow, high pressure, or high temperature are incorrectly selected or inadequately implemented, many critical failure scenarios may be completely excluded from the analysis process. This creates significant gaps in hazard identification. Furthermore, the failure to adequately assess the consequences of identified deviations is also a significant weakness. Simply identifying the deviation is not enough. The actual and potential consequences of this deviation, such as fire, explosion, toxic substance release, or equipment damage, must also be comprehensively analyzed. Perhaps the most critical error is the failure to follow up and close the actions identified at the end of the HAZOP process. Failing to implement recommendations after studies are completed and reports are prepared renders the entire process ineffective. Without a robust action tracking plan and verification mechanism, HAZOP ceases to be a true safety tool and becomes merely a completed document. In conclusion, HAZOP is a risk analysis method that generates significant value only when implemented with a disciplined, participatory, and follow-up oriented approach. Otherwise, it remains merely a procedurally completed paper study that is not reflected in the process risks.